Do you ever think that asexuals can't be passionate, sensual, sexy, hot, and enjoy physical activity minus the sex? Do you believe asexuals don't like clubbing, don't like sexy dancing, and don't like being physically intimate? If so, think again. While this may be true for some asexuals, it's not true for all asexuals. And me personally, I'm a very sensual, passionate, hot, and sexy girl who loves clubbing, who loves kissing, and who loves public affection and intimacy. So, if you think that asexuals can't be any of those things, then I'm a prime example of someone who's different to that, who maybe bucks the ideology, stereotypes, or trends in comparison to what most people put out in their world about asexuals. Obviously, there are many asexuals that don't like kissing at all or like very little of it. They just like a peck on the cheek. There's many asexuals that would never ever go clubbing. They wouldn't like the sexual energy. They wouldn't like the sexual guys around them or people around them. And there's loads and loads of people who asexuals will feel uncomfortable around. Now, if you don't know my backstory, I've been in heterosexual relationships in the past for pretty much half of my life, pretty much all my life until one point. And then, I had my first relationship when I was 6 years old with a heterosexual guy. So it wasn't, it was from six. And then obviously, I didn't have a boyfriend after that till my teens. And then kind of like throughout my teens, late teens as well, going into like the years, then I ended up in relationships with heterosexual guys and dating heterosexual guys. And if you watch my introductory video, you will know that I had to see a counselor in 2014 because I just couldn't cope with the fact that I was dating and it made me felt like I was almost wetting myself because the expectation of sex at the end of the night meant I was really frightened and scared of like progressing the date that far. But I really wanted kissing and cuddling. And I was absolutely disgusted when I told the counselor that I didn't like sex, and she told me I'd have to have sex in order to keep a good guy. I mean, that was absolutely devastating. And back then, I was really like not happy to date heterosexuals, not happy to be near them. I felt quite worried and scared about, where that might lead. Nowadays, though, now I'm much more assertive. I understand boundaries and everything like that. I'm much more comfortable about being around heterosexual guys, which might sound counterintuitive and weird, but it's since I've discovered I'm asexual and understand my asexuality more, and I'm proud to be asexual and I can be more myself, that I feel like I am able to say no to guys, to put boundaries in place for guys, and I'm able to like stop them doing stuff that I don't want them to do, whilst also allowing myself the freedom of being able to have physical intimacy to a level of which I'm comfortable with. So last night I went out clubbing for New Year's Eve. I've never been out clubbing on my own for New Year's Eve ever in my life. It was a first for me. And I decided to go in my city to a club called Revolution. Now, if you watch the shorts videos, you will see there's a stilt walker there, an aerialist there, and it was really, really pumping with music and lots of different people. And so I met a guy on meetup.com, well, through messaging. I hadn't actually met him in person. And a couple of days before I went to the Revolution nightclub, uh, then I spoke to him message, and me and him video called, and we were really attracted to each other. But he made it clear he wanted a relationship and not just meet up for clubbing for New Year. And he's a smoker, a heavy smoker. And I told him that I can't be with a smoker because I just can't kiss a smoker. And I really love kissing. And he was like, "Oh, seems I know good for you." Right. But then last night he turned up at the club with his friends that he lives with. And so I was dancing with him for the majority of the night, off and on, in between dancing with lots of other foreign guys. Predominantly, there was a British guy as well, um, who danced with me quite a bit at one point. And it was predominantly foreign guys, so and I just had the time of my life. This guy, it's a shame that he does smoke heavily because I was really attracted to him. And I did let him cuddle me, I did let him hold me close, I did let him stroke my back and stuff like that. I did let him kiss my neck and my shoulder. I was really happy about that, but he stank of smoke, and that was the closest I could allow him to get. Oh, the very, very end, he pressed his lips on mine, but that really wasn't enough for him. I could tell he got frustrated and he went and just like rested. And I'm like, I'm off dancing again, you know? And so last night was the first night that I've really actively made sure that I'm not just tied to one guy as much as usual, that I'm actively, you know, allowing other guys to dance with me. Although this guy was from Pakistan, and I did let him dance with me the majority of the time throughout the night, off and on. We were dancing mostly together. But his friend, which you'll see pictured in the photograph on my post, he danced with me for a bit when this guy was off somewhere, presumably smoking or whatever he was doing. So I don't get so hung up anymore on what guys are doing. I just have a great time and dance with whatever guys want to dance with me, who I feel comfortable dancing with. And so him and his friend were Pakistani, and there's a whole group of Pakistanis, and I do get attracted to Pakistani guys, particularly without a beard. And the main guy who was dancing with mostly, he was pretty much almost clean shaven. He has some stubble, but he really nice hair. But I did want to kiss him, but I just couldn't do proper kissing with him. I couldn't do like full on kissing. I just couldn't. Um, and I don't think he'd probably be a good guy for me, really, because he lied, you know, he lied and said he hadn't smoked for 2 days. That's such a lie. I can tell. It's all over your clothes. You absolutely stink of it. You've smelled of it all night, but I've still allowed you to hug me, basically. And so he's really smelt of smoke like a whole night, and that was difficult enough dealing with that. It smelt like a joint as well. It smelled like drugs, but when I asked him about that, he was like, "No, I really don't do that. It's cigarettes." But you know, he lied and said he hadn't done it for 2 days, and I said, "Don't lie to me. I can tell it's all over your clothes." And he's going, "Oh, it must be when I went out and there's people smoking." I mean, why would he need to go out with people smoking unless he smoked? He wouldn't. He'd stay in the club. So yeah. Anyway, in the very end, he admitted it and said, "I'm sorry, have I spoilt your mood?" And I said, "A little bit." And he's like, "Oh, sorry, can you forgive me? I won't lie to you again, because you'll know I'm lying." But, you know, he's like, "Oh, I can give up smoking for you." But clearly he can't. He goes, "Because I said, oh, but you need to help me." I said, "It's not up to me to help you. It's up to you if you want to quit smoking or not." And he's like, "I want to, but I've got no willpower." And so pretty much like, yeah, he'll never do that, because obviously a guy who was really keen on me, really interested in me. I've had it in the past, like with guys quitting smoking. My last long-term ex, he quit smoking because he knew, even as a friend, I was to him before we got together. He knew that, he said to me, "I knew you'd never be with a smoker." So he quit smoking. He quit smoking, as far as I know he did. Um, but it was really weird, because when we split up, there was someone who said to me they thought they saw him, well, they said they saw him smoking. So I don't know, but the first ex who meant to give up smoking, because I had 2 long-term exes. The first one said he'd given up smoking, and then actually someone caught him smoking. So he was clearly lying to me, the first guy. So I don't know about the second guy. But yeah, so you know, I'd rather a guy not like to smoke at all in the first place. But obviously, you know, like smoking's a really bad habit. It's not good for your health. And so personally for me, I think like if you've got the chance of being with a beautiful woman or smoking, like, I think the guy personally should take the giving up smoking, which costs a lot of money, is a bad habit, and is doing nothing good for your health whatsoever, and give up that in the space of, like, being with a good woman. I just think it's so much better, but obviously, clearly, I'm not the guy. I'm not the guy. I'm not the person for him. Yeah, I got guy traits, who cares? But anyway, so that's a shame. But yeah, so he was like cuddling me quite a lot and kissing me on the neck and stuff, and I really liked it. So as an asexual person, I'm a hyper romantic and hyper kisser, which is very different to most asexuals. And I absolutely love sensual touch, non-sexual, the guy's upper body. So I really like that. I like being in physical contact with guy I feel really comfortable around, and usually this is younger foreign guys. And so last night I thought, like, for the majority of the night, I really wanted to kiss, but I couldn't kiss this guy that was mostly dancing with me, because he wasn't 100% clean shaven, but he was like getting that way. So it was passable. and he's just a smoker, and I just can't kiss a smoker. I really can't tongue kiss and open mouth kiss a smoker whatsoever. It's just like I can't do it because last time I did that, I had a respiratory infection for 7 weeks and lost my voice for 2 of those weeks on this channel. I couldn't stream for ages. And so it's really super annoying and really bad for my health, and I just can't do it, you know? And so it's hard when a lot of the guys that are attracted to me tend to have facial hair and like smoking. It's really annoying. Some of them, like with facial hair, they're more passable than others. If they got really short facial hair, it's more easy for me to be able to be close to them. Anyway, I had the time of my life last night. So this guy turned up, like I said, from meetup.com, and he was dancing with me the majority of the night, but then his friend danced with me a bit of the time as well. And that was really nice. And I went up to the toilet and I had some girls complimenting me on my outfit. I was all in sparkly skirt and sparkly top. I fitted in really well with the actual main acts there. They had like dancers there which looked like they had goldfish bowls on their head, which were like meant to be glitter balls on their head, and like outfits to match. But because I was all sparkly, I kind of blended in with the main acts, I thought, really well. So that was quite interesting. I stood out as well. I was at the end, me and this Pakistani guy was like turned around and was dancing. Well, it was actually his friend first that was dancing with me while he was away on the bit that's, it looked like a bit like a stage, but it wasn't. It was basically a seating area, a booth, but it was raised up off the floor. And so he's like, "Oh, why don't you dance up here? It's like more space is better for you." So I did, but it was in front of everyone because it's like higher than everyone else at the front of the night, right next to the DJ. And then his friend came back, the main one I was dancing with, and so we were dancing on that. But I like being the center of attention, so I like being the queen of the dance floor. I like people knowing who I am. I like being bold and brave and courageous. The more I was there last night, the more I thought this is just what I need to do for my soul. I need to be more of my 21-year-old self, my mindset self, my soul self, because I do not relate to my birth certificate age at all. I'm nothing like it. Honestly, it's like it's an imposter or something. But I have to accept that I've got this birth certificate age, but I'm really not interested in it. It's not who I am, and I don't live that life. My mindset is clearly 21 years old, and that's where I'm sticking in a teenager lifestyle. And the more I live that life, the happier my soul is, the more euphoric I am, the more alive I feel than ever before. I want to start this year as I mean to go on, and that is I want to go out dancing and clubbing far more because it's so good for me. It actually helps relieve my fibromyalgia pain a lot as well, probably because it's endorphins that are being released. So it's a really good pain management tool. It really helps de-stress me. So mentally it's really good for me. And physically it helps numb the pain, if you like. Or well, maybe not numbs the word, it helps counteract the pain because it's got like really feel good chemicals going into my body, and it just feels so good. I feel so young and so happy and so myself. When I was there last night, I'm like, why didn't I do this every single year before in the past? Like, what was I missing? Like, I feel now that I should have done it like for years. I should have been going out on New Year's Eve clubbing. I'm like, what have I been doing with my life? Why did I never do this before? Obviously, I spent time with my parents, which was great, but they are a different generation to me, like completely different things to me. And so, you know, to go out last night, be around young people like myself and really just feel so euphoric and happy was incredible. I had the most amazing asexual time of my life, and I got to be my true authentic self, a very sensual, passionate, sexy, asexual girl who doesn't like sex, but who's still very much beautiful and hot like loads of guys would think. And I had lots of guys thing I looked good. Like when I went to the toilet, like I said, I had some women complimenting me on my outfit, but I had this one guy. I was just coming back down as he was going up because the men's and ladies. Sorry, he was coming down to the toilet. I was going up, back upstairs. So the toilets, the ladies, gents and ladies were both downstairs. And I had to go upstairs back to club, and he like said he liked my outfit, and he said, "Oh, you're gorgeous." And I think this was a British guy actually. So that was really, really nice. And I really love that. And you know, I'm not a skinny girl, but I still look really gorgeous as it is. So that's good. I think it's very good for people who are curvaceous and more voluptuous to know that you can still be goddamn sexy and beautiful, even if you're asexual. and you don't have to be super skinny or skinny at all or thin at all to be that way, you know? You can just live your true authentic life, be totally happy and still have lots of guys after you. So so what happened in the end is the Pakistani guy that was mostly dancing with and his friends, they all decided they want to go to another nightclub called Fever, and he asked me if I wanted to go along. So I went along, which was great. The Pakistani guy I was mostly dancing with, he disappeared a couple of times in the other club, and that's when his friend danced with me, you know, because I'm not just going to sit around waiting for some guy to come back if he's just gone off and he's just going off for ages. I want to have fun with my life, you know. It's his loss if he decides to leave and go elsewhere. I'm thinking, all right, if you leave and decide to go elsewhere, then, you know, that's really not my problem. I'm not going to sit around and wait for you because we're not a couple. And at the end of the day, I'm single and I need to be enjoying my life, not stood around like a lemon waiting for a guy, you know, who I'm not even in a relationship with. So, so the second club went to Fever. They all went ahead. I had to go to the toilet, and then I was waiting at the cloakroom area to put my bag in, but I just thought this is going to take ages, and I had to pay for the club. It was the last 2 hours. So the club that first club shut at 2, the second club shut at 4 a.m. So it's FIFA and Boutique nightclub in Exeter, so UK, and the first one was Revolution, Exeter, UK. So anyway, I went to the second club with them, but I was waiting ages to try and put my bag, find somewhere for my bag and the locker area. You know, there's a cloakroom, because there's no locker area. There's a cloakroom where they store your bags, and it was just a huge queue. So luckily, the Pakistani guy, it was really nice of him, came out looking for where I was, and he's like, "Oh, you can put the bag in here. Just put it on a like sofa." So I did, and I had a mini bag inside it, so I took that out, which was like had my cards and keys in and money to go back into my flat, so no one would nick it. So that was really good. And in this club, I got loads of guys dancing with me. I got the Pakistani guy dancing with me, but then when he was going off, I thought, well, if you're going to go off, I'm just going to dance with other guys. And some other guys would, one other guy came and danced while I was dancing with him. So I had the Pakistani guy, I was dancing, and then he just like looked around and went somewhere. I don't know where he went. And so in the meantime, I had a Bangladesh guy, like take my hand and start dancing with me. And then at one point there was a bit of a fight. So, starting to like two guys were starting to have fisticuffs. So I'm like, I need to get out of here. So he took me by the hand quickly and got me to the other dance room, which I think was the actual boutique bit. But I didn't really like it so much in there. It's very smoky, vaping. And there was a smoke terrace outside. But anyway, he was dancing with me a bit, the Bangladesh guy. And then he decided to just go off. And I'm thinking, okay, I'm not happy here. So I'm going back to the dance floor. And then when I was at the dance floor, when I came back, there was another guy who danced with me as well. I think he was actually Indian, but he was really fit, good looking, gorgeous, whatever you want to call it. So the Bangladesh guy was slim and looked like he probably worked at the gym or something. He looked really nice. And the other guy, though, the guy I think was Indian, he had like a ponytail, and I've seen him before around, I think, at Bollywood nights maybe, and he had really nice clothes on me. I think he goes to the gym. Now, normally I don't like musty guys, but like I'm getting so used to now being around guys who are much better looking, who keep themselves fit, and who I love to stroke his chest. It just feels so good. And it's like, I think he was Indian, this one, and it's like, oh, you're so bliss for me. And so we danced together with him a little bit. They were both, the Bangladesh guy and him were both doing some sexy dancing with me. So you have to watch that though. Like as an asexual person, I have to watch that because they start putting their genitals near my backside. And after a while, I'm just like, I can't stand this. It's too sexual for me. So I have to like stop them doing that. And you got to be careful where they put their hands. So if they try and put their hands on my bum, I'll be like, don't put your hands there, like I'm not comfortable, like don't do that. And so, there's got to be some awareness there of what you like, what you don't like, and your boundaries. And then there was a person of color guy who was dancing with me, and then the Pakistani guy came back and interrupted me with him, which was quite good because this guy was an older guy, so I wasn't so attracted to him or into him at all. He was trying to get physically close to me at one point. I didn't like it because I'm just really not attracted to older guys. He had a nice face for an older guy, I guess, and he was beautiful coloured skin, dark, but, you know, he was a person of black colour, and, um, but I just wasn't so really attracted to him because he's older and he's not really my thing. I got a bit bored after a while. I was thinking I really want to be on the dance floor with the younger guys, you know? And so anyway, the Pakistani guy came back, but he took me and he took me away and then he took me to back to he took me to the boutique club where I'd been before with the Bangladesh guy, and he was kissing my neck and stuff. I didn't mind kissing my neck, shoulder, because I'm not. I like it. It's really nice. He's kissing my ear. He reckoned he'd been like not been in a relationship all his life, but I find that very hard to believe when he knew exactly what to do, unless he's just been watching some romantic or porn stuff. You know, kissing wise. And I don't mind him kissing me on the neck or shoulder in a club. Like some people think that's too intimate for clubs. It doesn't bother me. He was licking my ear at one point as well, which is obviously very intimate. But yeah, but I think he was trying to kiss me on the lips and I just couldn't have it. I like him pressed there and that was it. And then he went off to say he was sitting down. And then the person of color guy came back and was like watching me with the you know, he's watching me after the Pakistani guy stopped dancing with me. And I decided to I said, I'm just going downstairs, you know, because I wanted to go back to the other room. And then when I got back downstairs, I had other guys dancing with me. And one of those guys was British, I think. He was a really nice person, actually, I think, and nice to dance with. And then I had at the very end of the night, so I had like lots of different guys wanting to dance with me. It's really nice. I felt really special. A lot of guys like appreciated my dancing. They loved my looks. I was kind of very, very stand out because of my outfit, my sparkly skirt and top. It really stood out and shimmered above like loads of people's or loads of the room, you know? And so in the very, very end, there was this guy. I like it when a guy's really strong and kind of cuts in other guys. I think it's quite rude to the other guy in some ways, but I'm like, oh well, you know, you missed your opportunity with me. There you go. And so anyway, this guy, he was like shorter and sweeter and like younger looking, clean shaven, couldn't smell smoke on him. And he like decided to try and stop dancing with me while the British guy was still dancing with me. Oh, at one point I forgot to tell you, like the Pakistani guy I was dancing with at the first club, the one I was dancing with throughout the night mostly, and his friend at one point, I ended up dancing between them. That was quite funny. Um, Pakistani sandwich with me in between. Um, I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, if it's polite and etiquette. If it's not, sorry. Um, sorry, not sorry. But yes. But anyway, so I I've lost my whole train of thought now. Anyway, yes, the second club at the very end, like the last 10 minutes, I was dancing with the British guy a lot. And then this guy kind of wanted to try and dance with me as well. At some points, this is what happened. I kept having other guys try and dance with me while still dancing with one guy. It's like they wanted to cut in and start dancing with me. I just let them do that. I'm like, oh well, more the merrier, isn't it? Just like that's fine because I'm single. And I need to make sure I'm acting like a single person and not like tied into a relationship with anyone who can't even like be good for me in a relationship. Until I find the right guy to be in a relationship with me, I'm just going to be young, free, single. I was going to be young anyway, and just live this type of life now because I love it, you know, where I'm going out and, you know, mixing with different guys to see which ones might be good for me, might not be good for me, get a flavor of what like being out with younger guys is really like, how they treat me when they're with their friends, how they, you know, like the Pakistani guy, the main guy I was dancing with, I was very observant about how he treats me when he's with his friends. Like most of the time, he was like still super into me in the clubs. But when we were walking with him and his friends, he didn't hold my hand walking down the high street. He just like started being intimate with me again on the dance floor. Now, to me, if someone really likes you, they'll hold your hand in public in the street as well, not just in a club. So, yeah, I did notice that. And when we had the countdown for the new year, he was actually filming the aerialist and obviously some of the people as well in the room. But he wasn't really looking at me and paying attention. I'm thinking, okay, so you're not that into me because if you were, you'd be doing the countdown with me. But I couldn't kiss him anyway for the countdown, and he knew that, so probably he might have been avoiding that a bit anyway, as I was. But I looked next to me, and there was this Indian guy next to me who had a girlfriend. But I thought, oh, I'll look at the Indian guy and his girlfriend because it's more interesting than him taking video footage of the aerialist. Because I thought, well, it would have been nice if it like counted the year in with me, you know, I would have liked to have kissed the guy at that moment, but I couldn't kiss him. So yeah. So anyway, the second club, going back to the second club, the very last 10 minutes, I was dancing with this British guy, as far as I know he's British. And this other guy like cut in and wanted to dance, and then he just started like holding my hand and dancing with me. And it wasn't long after that he was like trying to kiss me, but I really thought, yeah, just go for it, Sam. But I kissed him a little bit, but then I'm like, okay, so like he wasn't a great kisser at first, and I said, "Okay, so, you know, you were born in Britain or somewhere else, like, you don't look British," and he's like, "Oh, I'm Moroccan," and so I'm like, "Thank God for that." He's foreign. And so he was clean shaven, I didn't smell the smoke, and so then I let him kiss me more, but I was kind of teaching him how I like to be kissed, because what happens if a guy's not a very good kisser with me, I can really train him up quickly and how to kiss me. And the way I do that is by literally taking the lead without him even really noticing. So it's very, very subtle. So when he was kissing me a little bit and he wasn't a very good kisser at the beginning, then when I found out he's Moroccan, I'm like, okay, I've never kissed a Moroccan guy before. I am really attracted to Moroccan guys, and it's going to be a beautiful experience. So then I decided to let him kiss me more, but I did it in such a way that I was more in control of the mouth tongue situation. Yes, I like tongues. And but I didn't like it when he wasn't so good at it. I mean, when I say I didn't like it as much. I'm thinking he isn't very good at this at the moment. So basically, I kind of like take control of the mouth. I hold hold like the side of his face more, stroke his hair. I love doing that, and like kiss it, but I do it in a way which is controlled. Kind of, I'm taking the lead a little bit more. It's very subtle, so you probably wouldn't know that as much. And then when I've taken the lead and show him, like with my tongue, how I like to be kissed, and I let him take back over. This is how I do it. It's very subtle and very quick. And so then it was much better. So then I really liked to kiss him. And then it was really nice. So he was really into physical kissing with me a lot. And it was really nice to get that kiss at the end because I so wanted to kiss. Like I hadn't kissed since the Indian 21-year-old in May. And so I really wanted to kiss another guy who's clean shaven and good looking and nice physique, even though I'm not interested in sex. So he was really like smartly dressed and really nice looking. So yeah, I was a really, really good experience. I enjoyed kissing him. It was really, really nice in the end. And it ended my night really well because that's what I wanted to do the whole night, really. But I couldn't do it with the Pakistani guy who was mostly with me because he smokes. I just can't kiss a smoker. It's just not acceptable. It make me poorly. So this guy, I thought, thank goodness he came along when he did, so I can get some kissing in. And because I love kissing, I'm a hyper romantic and hyper kisser. And so, yeah, it was really amazing. Um, and I did really love it. And then he was trying to he held my hand when we went out of the club, so I loved that about him. Not like the Pakistani guy who's with his friends and walking down the high street and walking off the other side of the road and not even like any physical contact with me, like going down the actual road. And in part of the club, the Revolution Club, the first club, the Pakistani goes, "Oh, I'm thinking of falling in love with you." I'm thinking, I think you're talking out of your butt because clearly you're not. You're just saying it to get me to kiss you and like on the lips and like in the mouth, you know, like kiss him when he's a smoker. And you're not that into me because you don't even like on Facebook, he stopped messaging me before he came to the club and he's still not messaged me now, you know. So clearly he's not that into me. But he was into me a certain extent because like when we went to the second club, he came looking for me to dance with me specifically, and he was gutted when other guys were dancing with me. So I think he likes me a bit. But maybe that's just an ego thing, not really that he is super into me because he's not messaged me since. So, but then he knows I wasn't dancing with him at the end. I was dancing with other guys. And I don't know if he saw me kissing another guy or not. Um, but you know, but he was like when we were queuing to go in the club, like I said, he wasn't even holding my hand in the high street with his friends, and he was ahead of me, and he was stood next to this girl, and he was like bumping her on the arm, and I'm thinking, okay, so you're just not even like next to me now. And then he came looking for me later on in the club. I think he liked this girl a little bit as well. She had blonde hair, and I think he liked her, but I don't think she was that much into him. And so yeah, I think he probably preferred me more in the sense of like how I looked and stuff. and felt probably. But yeah, so it was just all a bit weird like that with him, because he did kept disappearing. So I was thinking, I'm not gonna, if you're gonna stop dancing with me, then I'm just gonna carry on dancing with other guys. And if you can't even like, he clearly can't give up smoking for me anyway, so he's no good. So I have to look for another guy anyway. And yeah, eventually I would like a relationship is in my mind. So there's no point in just dancing with one guy who's not right for me when I could actually meet someone who might be right for me for a relationship in these clubs. You know what I mean? And so, staying with the wrong person, a guy who's not right for me, which most guys won't be right for me in club anyway. The British guy might have been really nice. He seemed like much less sexual actually, and much more respectful. So he might have been a nice guy, but I don't know, because he didn't ask for my number or anything. And the other guy cut in, the Moroccan guy, and decided to kiss me. So but when I went outside with the Moroccan guy, he held my hand purposely, like, let's hold your hand, like, I hold your hand. And but he wanted to come back to mine. And obviously that's a big no-no, because I told him, he asked for my Instagram, so I connected with him on Instagram. The Moroccan guy, he kissed me. And I said I'm asexual in sexual orientation. I said, do you know what that means? I said, I don't like sex. And he's like, and I said, and he didn't really get it. He goes, you like guys? I said, yes, I like guys. But because clearly I let him kiss me. I said, but I don't like sex. So I said I like them romantically, aesthetically, but not to have sex with. And he's like, oh, okay, we can be friends and meet up sometimes. But he's on about friends with kissing, not real friends. Um, so anyway, I let him have my Instagram. But he was like trying to come back to my place. He even asked to come back to my home. And I'm like, no, I don't have guys in my home. He's like, oh, who do you live? Do you live on your own? I said, I live in a house. He's like, oh. And he was trying to, like, he was walking down the street with me holding my hand. And we did some more just little kissing on the lips, and not full tongue kissing or anything like that, just like sweet little kisses. And then he thought, he was walking down the street. So his mates were like shouting stuff at him. And like, they thought he was coming back to mine. And I like, no, I need to go this way on my own. I don't have guys in my place. And he's like, oh, let's make something together. I was thinking, F this, you know what I mean? Like, sounds like you want to make a baby with me or something. I said, I don't have sex. And he just said, oh, no, it's fine. No sex, but let's make something. I mean, he's foreign, so I don't know if it's bad language he's using, like as in incorrect grammar or incorrect speech. But at the end of the day, it sounded like he wanted to make love, as in have sex. And I'm like, no, I'm not interested in that. And he said about coming back to mine. I'm like, no. And then he said, like, he was giving me like excuses for coming back to mine. And I'm like, no, and I know what these guys do when they use excuses. And he was trying to charm me as well, but it didn't work on me. It was really funny. Couldn't do nothing but laugh, because guys are full of shit when they want to have sex. Excuse my language, but they are. So this Moroccan guy, when he was outside, he held my hand and he was trying to talk me into having him stay at my place, which I wasn't having. But he was going, oh, he goes, oh, when I saw you, I wasn't interested in any other woman. Like, there was only you I was interested in. He goes, no other woman can compare to you. Believe me, he was going. And he's saying, oh, you're the most beautiful woman in the world. Like, you're the most beautiful woman, not just in the UK, but in the world, he was going. And he's going, don't you believe me? I said, yeah, I believe you. I go, it's not just the world, is it? It's the universe. Like, I'm the most beautiful woman in the universe, aren't I? And he was laughing, because obviously this is not what a woman usually says. A woman will be usually like, oh, that's so nice of the guy to do that and let him in her bed, but because I'm really confident in myself, and I do love myself, and yeah, for myself, I'm the most beautiful, gorgeous woman in the world for myself, then, I'm very confident, and I know what these guys do and the tricks they play, especially because I've been in heterosexual relationships for a lot of my life. And so one of the things they do is purposely, one is say that they love you when they don't, which is what the Pakistani guy said in Revolution. Like, I think I'm falling in love with you. I'm thinking, clearly you're not, because you're not behaving that way. And it was just to get kissing out of me, I'm sure. And then the Moroccan guy was saying all this lovely stuff to me, because he was trying to get me to come back to my home, and thought that flattering me and making me feel like the most beautiful girl in the world would get me to sleep with him. This is not how it works with me, because I know these tricks. It's like old school tricks, but I only know this from experience, because, this is what guys are like, heterosexual guys. They'll do anything and say anything for sex. and even for some intimate stuff. So anyway, he was trying when he was going, "Don't you believe me? Don't you believe me? Like you're the most beautiful woman." And then I was like, "Yeah, of course I believe you. Why wouldn't I believe you? Of course I'm the most beautiful woman." He couldn't stop laughing. It's like he was looking at me like and then laughing. It was just like because he couldn't believe that I admitted who I actually am. And of course, there's going to be other women that most men would find more beautiful than me in the world. Of course, there's going to be theoretically more beautiful women in the world. But I am that confident now, and I need to be confident around these heterosexual guys that I love being me. And for me personally, I am the most beautiful woman for me. I don't care about guys because I love my personality. Like, I am my best friend. Like, I would be so upset if anything happened to myself. Sometimes it's really weird. I have these kind of experiences where I think about if I lost me, like, say I died, but I was split. So there was me coming out of me, like my soul coming out of my body, and I was looking down at myself on my deathbed in hospital, wherever I am in bed, and this my me has died, but I'm still my soul looking at myself, thinking, God, I really miss her. I really love her. I want her back in my life. She's like essential to me. And so that's how much I love myself these days in a very beautiful self-love way because I just look at myself and I'm really happy with myself. I do actually really love myself. I've worked on that a lot over the years, and it's really important to be like this when you have a guy who, or multiple guys who are saying things to you that really are just a load of rubbish to get you to do what they want physically. They'll say anything to get you to do physical stuff with them just because they want what they want. It's a manipulation tactic to a certain extent, or trying it on, um, you know. And so anyway, when he kept saying, "Oh, you're most beautiful, don't you believe me?" In the end, I just turn around and go, "Yeah, yeah, I do. Yeah, I am the most beautiful." And he's like, "Oh, not just in the UK, but in the world." I said, "Yeah, I'm the most beautiful in the universe, not just the world." And he was like laughing. I'm like, "Yeah, of course I am. Why wouldn't I be?" And then anyway, he was asking me like saying, "Oh, like, are you on Insta?" Like he connected with me on Instagram going, "Oh, like, can we meet up?" Like I work in Exmouth at an Indian restaurant of all places. And he's like, "Oh, like, can we meet up? Like I've got a day off. Would you like to like spend the day with me and we can meet up and we can go out?" And he was on about going out regularly clubbing with me. And I'm like, "Well, I just go down clubbing anyway. I don't want to tie myself down to one guy who I'm not in a relationship with." You know what I mean? It's just not good for me. I want to be free to kiss and dance with whatever guys I want to do that with in the moment whenever I want. I don't want to be um tied down to one guy who's not the right guy for me to be in a relationship with. None of these guys are right to be in a relationship with. I don't know if the British guy would have been a good guy to be in a relationship with, the one who was dancing with me, because he wasn't very sexual and he was very respectful of my boundaries. He wasn't trying to come on to me sexually, but he was really nice to dance with and he was clean shaven. I don't know how old he was, so it was interesting that I did actually like the British guy. He was, because I liked him, he was really respectful, and I did like that. But I'm more attracted to foreign guys. So yeah, so that was the end of that. But when he was walking down the street, he was still trying to get me to come to my home, and I'm like, no, the Moroccan guy this is. But I did give him some little kiss of goodbye, which was nice. And then anyway, in the end, he messaged me on Instagram when I got home and said, "What are you doing?" I'd just been in the shower. And he's like, "Oh, I'm outside still looking for a taxi. I can't find one, and it's really cold here. I'm so cold." And he basically, that was what he wanted me to do, is to say, "Oh, you can come to mine then if you're cold and you can't find a taxi." He wanted to come back to my home. That's all that was about, and to get me to feel sorry for him. So years ago, I had one guy who purposely missed his public transport. It might be more than one guy, but one guy I distinctly remember, who purposely missed his train home in order to stay in my home. Like, made out a sob story like, "Oh, I've missed my train now." But it was like, because I like you so much. It was just rubbish. Absolute rubbish. After he did stay at mine, that was like the last I like basically saw him. He didn't want to see me because I wouldn't have sex with him. He did stay at mine, and I'm not falling for that trick again. At the end of the day, these guys are responsible for themselves. It's up to them to get themselves home. Otherwise, they can just stay at a train station all night and sleep in like rough or whatever. It's not your responsibility or mine to look after them. These people can book into a hotel anyway, or B&B, and if they don't have money, then that's their problem. You know what I mean? They would have had to have arranged transport back to where they live normally without you being there, without meeting you. So there's no reason why they can't do that with meeting you. It's just rubbish. Never ever let a guy try and talk his way into staying in your home just because he's feeling cold or he's feeling lonely or there's no public transport and blah blah. Obviously, if you're in a serious committed relationship and they miss a train or bus, that's different. But you don't do it with some random guy. I did it years ago, like I said. I was like feeling sorry, like, oh my god, the guy's missed a train because he loves me so much or cares about me so much. Oh, I must let him stay at mine, poor thing, and I must be so attractive to him to say all this. He must want me so much and like me so much. It was just like really disappointing the next day when like he didn't even speak to me after. It's like, oh, I'll call you or whatever or message you. And that was it. These are people who lie. So this Moroccan guy, like, I am not going to try and make much contact with him. If he contacts me on Instagram, that's up to him. But at the end of the day, you've got to test these guys and think, like, what are they saying in comparison to what they're doing? If their actions do not match their words, clearly they're not that into you. And a guy who's really into me will pursue me. He will like come after me. He'll be messaging me. He'll want me in his life. And he really will just want me and be interested in me. These guys that are all over multiple women and that are, only trying to get sex or kissing out of me, they're the guys that are no good for me, and you've got to really watch this as an asexual person about the lies they're going to tell you. They're going to tell you some really bad lies, unfortunately, about stuff to get you to sleep with them, and make you feel sorry for them. Because if a guy can't guilt trip you, then the other extreme he'll do is make you feel sorry for him, make you feel like, oh no, like poor thing. So that's the other thing. It goes from one extreme to the other. There was actually an Indian guy that I met at one of the Bollywood parties, and he wanted to come out New Year with me, but he's not clean shaven. I've made it clear that I cannot be with a guy who's not shaven and who's got a beard. And anyway, so he messaged me on Instagram, like he sent me a copy of his reel. I've unfollowed him now, and he's like, oh, like, how are you, like, I told him that I was getting ready to go out. He said, oh, sounds good, can I come along if you don't mind? I said, well, if you do, just to let you know that I will be dancing with other guys. If an opportunity comes up to dance with other guys and a clean shaven one who I end up kissing, then that's what I'm gonna do, because we're not in a couple and I don't want people to think we are, because I've already said that I can't be attracted to guys, like, I'm repulsed by guys with facial hair and beards, so I can't be in a relationship. And he's like, oh, ha ha, funny joke. I'm like, it's not joking. Oh, hello, hi Liam. Happy New Year. You're beautiful, Sandra. You are stunning. Oh, thank you, darling. Love to you. Happy New Year, Liam. Liam's in chat. Love Liam. And so yeah, so basically, I thought the night went really well because I got out the night pretty much mostly what I wanted to get out of the night, but more. I ended up doing lots of dancing. I ended up dancing with different guys. I did get physically close to some of them, but then I stopped when I felt uncomfortable or told them not to touch me in places that were uncomfortable. I did get a kiss at the end of the night. Well, it was like nearly 4 a.m. basically, this morning, I should say. So yeah, so I did like the fact I got some kissing because I really like kissing so much. I haven't been able to kiss since May, so because I can't kiss a guy who smokes, a bearded guy. Really, I have never kissed a bearded guy yet. I'll never say never, but if he had a really short beard, maybe I'll give it a go. But yes, in general, I just like can't be doing with it, and so I think I had a great time dancing. I did look stunningly beautiful actually in my outfit. People commented on women and a bloke, and I just had a really great time. I think I stood out a lot. I like standing out. Like when I first went to Revolution nightclub, the beginning of it, there was only at one point me dancing on the floor. And again, I think sometimes people feel intimidated by me because I'm a really good dancer. I got bronze in freestyle disco dancing, highly commended. So I've got a qualification in dancing. So I decided I'd go to the toilet. And by the time I came back, it would be absolutely packed full of people. And I was right. 10 minutes later, I spent about 10 minutes in the toilet, I think. 10 minutes later, I came back and it was packed. And so, like, that's what I do sometimes because I was like, I don't just want to be the only one on the dance floor. That's not fair. And I don't want to spoil other people's enjoyment and pleasure of dancing. I don't want them to feel intimidated by me. So I want them to, well, it's nice if they like my dancing. I'll still dance anyway, whether they do or don't. But, I don't want them to feel intimidated. I like them to enjoy themselves, so that, I'll go off for a while and then come back when I think that, it's packed, which it was. So, overall I had an amazing experience. I am a sexy asexual girl, asexy if you like, because I lack sexual attraction, so absence of sexual attraction while being sexy. But I'm also sexy, hot according to a lot of guys and stuff. And I do actually find some guys aesthetically hot. Like I did end up stroking guys' chests more last night. And although usually traditionally I don't like muscly guys, it's quite nice because I can tell that they've been to the gym and that they work out and they keep themselves in shape. And it's quite nice because I'm actually quite sensual person. I'm learning that more and more about myself, that I'm a very sensual girl, that I do like touching the guy's upper body really a lot. I mean, I love putting my hands through like the Pakistani, the one I was dancing with the most, like putting my hands through his hair. He had really nice hair. I love doing that, it feels so good. Obviously, I much prefer to do that in a relationship. There are certain things I know that if I was in a relationship with a guy, I would be doing like more of it and more sensually, and basically probably turning him on more, even though I don't want sex, and making him feel really right, really attractive and hot and sexy in himself, because I know how to touch a guy and stuff. But I'm not going to do that full on with a guy I'm not in a relationship with, because I just feel that there's a level that I won't go to outside of casual like kissing and like dancing with a guy in a club. I reserve another level of intimacy, if you like, for a guy I would end up in a relationship with. So I would be able to I would be touching him a lot more in a relationship, even though I don't want sex, like with the upper body, with the hair, the chest, all that, his chest, not mine, all that type of thing. So I just like, there's a level that I was much deeper, like aware I could go to, which I will not do when just doing that in a club. You know, I just won't go there because, that would kind of be just too much and it wouldn't feel right. I probably do quite a bit more than other people would do, but not any more than I was comfortable with. And, being an actual relationship is much better when you're physical with someone in a relationship, because there's a proper love element there. And I honestly still believe, as much as I'm going to go out for the rest of this year in 2023, whatever, I'm single and want to be single, unless I meet the right guy, I'm going to go out dancing more, dance with different guys, kiss if I want to kiss, just end up being in a euphoric state and loving my life a lot more and being my 21-year-old self more. But if I find the right guy who really loves me and does physical intimacy stuff, loving me, it's going to be so much better in that way, because, there's a whole nother level that you go to when you really love someone, and it feels just different. It feels so much different having a guy love you and be super into you when they kiss you. It's like out of this world. Whereas when you get someone who's kissing you in club and it's like more like casual kissing and intimacy, which doesn't have really much thought or power behind it or emotion behind it, then it's more superficial in that way. And it isn't as good, because, there's no security or safety there. You just got to be secure and safe in yourself, knowing that this is just like this one night. They're going to kiss you and you might never see them again or have physical contact with them, and then that's it. It's taken me a long time to be comfortable with saying that and thinking about it and being okay with it for the most part. But, I am aware that I could end up getting really strong feelings for someone and it not being good for me. So I got to be very careful. I mean, the Pakistani guy, the one I was dancing with most, I do have most attraction for him, aside for the Moroccan guy, and it's a shame that he smokes and that he wasn't holding my hand in the actual high street and stuff like that, which I was disappointed in, like, in the sense that I was clearly not that into me if it's just intimacy in the club. Although I know some foreign guys are like that in in the public, in the high street more. I'm not interested in a guy like that. I want a guy that just is really strong, takes me by the hand, and like I want the type of guy that ideally I want him to be Indian, but I want him to like take my hand, be really strong, be really in control of like, protecting me, making me feel safe with him, making me feel like there isn't any other woman he's interested in, and meaning it and showing me that's true, and all the precious moments that matter that he spends with me. Like, I would have liked to a guy been with a guy who, like, saw New Year in and specifically was looking at me at that time in the countdown and could kiss me because he doesn't smoke, and who really wanted to be with me in a relationship. There is a really strong difference between love and commitment and seriousness and that deep feeling of, like, security in a relationship where, like, we've, like, committed to each other, compared to the casual, like, kissing, um, and, like, just having a moment together, it's nothing like, like kissing a guy who doesn't love me compared to kissing a guy who loves me. There's no comparison. A guy who loves me, who's kissing me, and I can feel it and I love him back. That's the most beautiful feeling in the world because it's pure love. It's like one heart to the other, one soul to the other, you know? And I haven't found that right guy for me yet. And I don't see it happening for the foreseeable future. And, maybe I'm better off being young, free, single. Sometimes I am like just needing to be single and live that single life because I do like my freedom a lot. I don't want to be tied down to one guy, not unless he was really, really good for me. There is no point. And it's quite good, like I said, to be able to observe these guys and see what they're actually about, what they're like, and be around more guys in their 20s, like physically, and see how they behave and how they act. And then I need to find a guy who's like in his 20s but got an older soul, like who knows how to take care of a woman properly, who knows how to like hold her hand and knows how to like be strong, and who knows like boundaries and assertiveness, and who is actually super into me and who messages me every day and who is really emotionally and mentally connected with me, as well as like sensually connected, and who will protect me and keep me safe and have my best interests at heart, no matter who he's with, whatever woman he's with, where he's on his own with his mates or whatever. I did like the fact this guy was kissing me on the neck and stuff and cuddling me in front of his friends, and I got on well with his friends. I did like that. I thought that was very healthy, this Pakistani guy. But what I didn't like is when it was outside the club and he wasn't even holding my hand. I'm thinking, you're not that into me. Like, if you were into me, then you would be holding my hand in public, and you're not, unless you're just not that type of guy. But clearly, if you can do it in club, then because he was holding my hands loads in the club, then you can do it in public. And the Moroccan guy did that straight away. He's like, oh, let me hold your hand. And I love that about the Moroccan guy. I'm like, yeah, this is great. And I love the feeling of holding a guy's hand. I mean, it's so sensual and beautiful and really romantic, and it just makes me feel like a queen. And, like going out together, holding hands, and like making it known that he really likes me to everyone is really, really nice. I really love that. I love that Moroccan guy doing that. I'm like, well, why couldn't a Pakistani guy just do that? Because he's not a high quality guy enough for me. He's got to really change and improve his life if he was wanting to be with me, because he just, no good as he is. He smokes. I thought he smoked drugs like joints because he smelt a bit like that. But he said he looked at me like really shocked when I suggested drugs. He said, no, it's just cigarettes. So maybe he is just on cigarettes. But because he did seem really genuinely shocked when I suggested that. But he's been smoking, I think, for 9 years, so he's never going to give it up, or at least not for me. Maybe it was only for like years to come. But I mean, it's damaging his body, his lungs, his liver, whatever. And it's costing him loads of money. He says he like only works part-time, struggles for money. So like, why is he smoking all these cigarettes? It just makes no sense, apart from it's probably because it's a bad habit, and some of his mates do it as well. So, you know, but I really think that, the right guy will show up eventually, but he needs to have X amount of qualities. And it's good because I'm seeing the qualities that I don't want in a guy, and I see qualities I do want in a guy, and it's no comparison. Which means that it's harder though to find that really good guy. The really good guy will stand out from the crowd though. I've no doubt about that, because they're so, they got like the guys that like are in clubs, they've really got no discipline a lot of the time. Not when it comes to like physical intimacy and like, you know, like with women, they've got no discipline. They are saying things in order to get a result, like in order to persuade the mind to like you know, in order to persuade the person's mind to have sex with them, basically. So when he said, "Oh, he was cold and he was messaging me," I said, "Well, get a taxi outside John Lewis or stay at your friends." You know, I was giving him suggestions that I wasn't to do with coming to my home. I said, "I'm off to sleep soon, night." And he's like, "Thanks." I don't know if he meant that sarcastically or what, but I hearted it. You know, and that's the last I've heard from him. He's like, "Oh, I'll message you." He said, "I'll massage you" instead of message you because he's foreign. I think you won't massage me. And he's like, "Oh, I'll send you some massages on Instagram." He meant messages. That was really funny. I didn't say you got the wrong word. I'm like, "Oh, good job. I know what you mean." But, you know, I mean, if I did go out with him, I'd no doubt get to kiss him, but he'd probably always be pushing for sex. I've told him I don't like sex. I just don't. You know, I like anyway, these guys ended up like friends with benefits, but maybe I just keep some guys and like if I end up seeing them again out, then I can cuddle them or kiss them, but that's pretty much it, you know, because long term I do want a serious committed guy for a relationship, but I don't see that happening for a very long time. And some people I come into contact with, they're like, "You're really free like a bird." So they don't understand why I'd ever want to be in a relationship anyway, because they think that I value my freedom a lot, which I do, and that my whole personality is about freedom, my whole essence and being. So maybe I'm actually not meant to be in a relationship. Maybe I'm always meant to be young, free, and single, you know, because I do like living a teenager life style and I do have a 21st mindset, you know. But I just wanted to show you that not all asexuals are, you know, are stereotypical. Like I am sexy and hot, I'm passionate and sensual without the sex, you know. I like being passionate. I like passionate kissing. I like a guy kissing my neck and my shoulders. I like, you know, like stuff like that. And you might be thinking, "Oh, doesn't that arouse you and turn you on?" A little bit. It was arousing me a little bit when he was like the Pakistani guy was really kissing my neck a lot and my shoulder a lot, and he was like licking my ear. This was on the dance floor, but it was in the back against the wall, so there was not that many people like paying attention. And I didn't mind that. I know it's in public, but I like public kissing. I like public affection. I have no problem with it because I don't have any fears or worries about what people think of me. I don't care what people think. I just like being intimate in the moment, as and when I please, wherever I please. I like being free like that. I've always liked being free like that. It's because in a relationship in the past, for like 8.5 years, I was used to, with my last long-term ex, kissing, cuddling, and, you know, like being intimate, like in front of people for like all that time. Kissing, cuddling, holding hands all the time, wherever we went, theme parks, zoos, aquariums, out for meals, to the cinema. You know, I would sit on his lap sometime in between his legs. I was just used to all that. So when you've been used to it for like 8.5 years and you like it, you're gonna still want that. You know what I mean? Like if it feels good, I enjoy it. I feel it's a lot more exciting, a lot more interesting when you're out in public. I just like I'm the opposite to a lot of people who like, you know, want to do things in private only. I hate like doing things just in private. I don't mind kissing in private as well. I can kiss for up to 3 hours in a relationship in private. Like the most I've ever kissed publicly, the longest I've kissed is about an hour. That's happened a couple of times, but you know, as a general rule, I don't like doing that as much because I prefer to be kissing longer in a serious committed relationship. But, you know, I love kissing, like a favorite hobby. I'm a hyper kisser, so it's really good for me, and I'm so glad I got some kissing in, you know, last night. I would have liked it if the Pakistani guy hadn't smoked, because I would probably have really liked to kiss him, even though he probably would be no good for me anyway. So, yeah, because he told me he wanted a relationship, but I think you really not, you know, before we met up, I mean, you're really not ready for a relationship, and certainly not with me, because you know, like you don't hold a girl's hand going down the high street. You're like, you weren't even holding my hand going into the club. He's got no because he said he has no willpower to give up smoking, so that's a big no-no. Because if a woman came and wanted sex with him, he'd probably give it to her because, you know, like he'd have no willpower to resist that. So someone who's got no willpower with smoking and quitting smoking is a serious red flag, because, like, what willpower is he gonna lack in other ways? And he lied to me about saying he didn't smoke when he does. Like, didn't smoke for 2 days. He didn't say he didn't smoke at all, but for 2 days. That's lying. If you can be dishonest about that, you can be dishonest about multiple things. At the moment, I've still got him as a friend on Facebook, but he's not talking to me. So clearly not that interested in me. But that's his problem. It's not my problem, he can just, like, enjoy me enjoy me kissing other guys or dancing with other guys if he's not willing to step up to the plate. If he thinks smoking is more important and he can't stop it rather than kissing me, then obviously he's made his choice, hasn't he? But you know what I mean? I just want to do this video because I do like being passionate. I do like being sensual. I do like being a hot, sexy, asexual girl. I do like bucking the norm. I do like breaking stereotypes and conventions. I do like stroking a guy's chest and stroking his hair and touching his shoulders and stuff. I do like doing some sexy dancing, some close physical contact, even with some guys I don't really know that well. Who I'm aesthetically attracted to. I do like that, I do enjoy it. And I think I need to be free to be me. I think everyone in life should be their true authentic self, should be free to be them, whether they're sexy, asexy, hot or not. I think everyone should just be who they are. And I just want to do this video to prove and show that just because someone's asexual doesn't mean to say they have to be the stereotypical asexual, who's not so romantic, not into relationships, and who or if they are, they're just not really much touching or kissing, because that isn't true for every asexual. It's certainly not true for me. I love kissing. I love passionate kissing with the tongue so much. I find it really exciting, thrilling, especially if it's done the way I like. Like I said, with the Moroccan guy, I basically quickly showed him how I liked it to be done. So, when some people say, oh, kissing's horrible, I can understand why they say that, because the guy, when he was first kissing me last night, the Moroccan guy, it wasn't that good. He wasn't that good at kisses, so it didn't feel so good. But as soon as I kind of swapped it around to me being taking the lead a bit and showing him how I like to be kissing, it being strong kissing, and not sloppy or anything, and not all over the place, wishy-washy, then it was fine. It was really good. So I'm very good at being able to turn that situation around. Anyway, I'm going to love you, Evie, for now. I hope you found this video useful, helpful, insightful, and very interesting and informative about me and my asexuality, and that I experience zero sexual attraction, but still have sexual behavior in multiple ways, I guess, but no desire to have sex whatsoever. Anyway, subscribe if you haven't already, and hit that bell icon so you never ever miss an episode. Thanks for being in chat, Liam. Love you lots, and I'll see you next video live stream. Happy New Year, everyone. Always start the year as you mean to go on. And for me, that is partying and being my true, authentic 21-year-old self and loving life. And I'm going to be doing more dancing, more kissing probably, and having a beautiful life with younger guys, foreign guys in their 20s. And when I move to my new place, hopefully I get the place soon. Masonette is very close to the city centre. It's called a flat. And I should be able to just walk up and go clubbing, and so it's going to cut down on taxi fares, but mean I can go out more, enjoy my 21-year-old self life and love it. Anyway, take care. Love you lots. See you soon on the next video live stream. Bye. Don't forget to subscribe and hit the bell icon.